Okay, I went to Aldi again. These are an Aldi brand creative, I think it's supposed to be Creative Place, Creative PL, Creative Place, which makes sense. But these are diamond painting kits. And I have never done diamond painting because I have not got around to doing it. I've seen a lot of them because they turn up when you search for cross-stitch on eBay, because I like to buy cross-stitch kits that I never open or start, let alone complete. So I've got a toucan, I've got a mandala, and I've got a cactus, cacti, there we go. And I'm going to do this one, I've decided. So these two I will maybe do at a later date. I like the toucan, but I'm going to do the cacti. Oops, crash into everything just over there. So now I'm going to open this up and see what's in here, because I don't know what to expect. I'm going to do that in frame even. Okay, so what have we got? Okay, so that's the canvas. And it's marked out. It looks like a cross-stitch pattern, actually, because it's marked out with all where you're going to put all the little... they're called diamonds, but they're not. Not for $4 a kit. They're obviously little lumps of plastic, but that's where they stick, and that's... Oh, that's not sticky. Oh, but that is very sticky. Good. That's what we like to hear. And the instructions, which I will read before I start, but that's them. And what else? We've got the little plastic. Well, I've heard them called gemstones and I've heard them called diamonds, but they are little domes, little plastic domes. These ones are not faceted, they're just domes. They look very small. I might have to clean my glasses before I do this. What else have we got in here? There we go, that's everything else. This is obviously the tool for, oops, get it in shot, there it is. The tool for picking up the little tiny plastic domes, not diamonds, plastic domes, and sticking them to the aforementioned canvas. And a little tray and a blob of something sticky? No? Oh, it is on the edges. I'm going to have to read the instructions, aren't I? I'll be right back. I'm back. So this stuff is... you see it does peel back. This is a gum that you put in the end of the... I'm just going to call it a stick. This is the stick. You put the gum in the end of it and then you can pick up the little plastic domes. Okay, so I think I'm good to go. What I'm going to do is keep shaking that because it's like making my own music. Look at this, look at this. Ambidextrous. I take this show on the road. So what I'm going to do now is waggle that around so that you've got something to look at while I talk to you. I'm going to go and set up my time-lapse camera system, which is not a system, it's an old phone with an app on it. And we will together, as friends, go through this thing and stick these things on with the stick and see what we end up with. If you're wondering, it's quite a good idea to not knock your gem tray and scatter things everywhere. Just a little pro tip there. Just trying to help. I told you a lie because I said these were not faceted, but they are. They're very slightly faceted. You can't really see it. Oh, you can now that I've got a light on them. But they don't really seem to sparkle until they're all together, which is probably something to do with the way light works. I don't know. So as you can see, I'm nearly at the bottom. I've spilled quite a lot of pink in my little tray, so I'm trying to ignore that. And it's not as tricky as I thought it was going to be. I thought I was going to make a complete mess of this by not getting the little gems in the right places, but I've mostly managed. Mostly. It's a little bit wonky, but it is my first one, so cut me some slack. Oops, that fell off. No, that also fell off. There we go. See, I'm doing so well. I can see the appeal. I have to admit I wasn't really sold on this as an idea. But it is, once you get into a bit of a groove, it's a really nice, repetitive motion, which is good for your brain. And it would be very good as a project to do with someone else, because you can quite easily have a chat while you do it. Because unlike something like cross stitch, which I do keep referring to because it is my frame of reference for this kind of thing, you don't have to do any counting or anything like that. You just fail to pick up your little thing. Hang on. Haven't quite got the knack of the shake to get everything the right way up, but I'm getting better at it. So yeah, I can see the appeal. I am having quite a nice time. Thank you for asking. Now, unlike cross stitch, unless I suppose you could probably buy these gems individually, perhaps. But for example, if this was a cross stitch piece, I would not do this bit down here in pink. I would choose a different colour and do that. And I suppose I could take these little stony things from another kit, but the pink would still show through, so I'm kind of stuck with the pink. Which is not, you know, a major problem. It's just not my favourite shade of pink, because I don't have a favourite shade of pink. I try to avoid pink most of the time. Not for any particular reason, it just doesn't appeal to me. So I'm going to continue on with this like a woman on a mission, and then I will be able to show you the finished piece, and you're going to be very excited about that. And I did not pick something up with then because I was just having a yak. I don't know that the camera's catching as much sparkle as there is, but it's really very sparkly. 9-year-old me would have just fallen over with bliss. And, you know, me now is kind of entranced with the sparklies because I'm easily amused. So that is the completed diamond painting from the Diamond Craft series, from the Creative Place series from Aldi. I probably could have found an easier way to say all that, but, you know, life wasn't meant to be easy. These are my leftover little thingies, which I want to think of something to do with, because I don't want to just piff them. And I've got to think of something to do with this. And I can't leave it unsealed or uncovered, because the way this one's set up, and I had a look online, and some of them have squares instead of round, so it works a bit better for this. But because I have a border collie, and because he is basically shedding his entire body weight every 7 minutes, all of that hair is currently, and I can feel it coming. It's approaching. It's going to come. It's going to stick to this. I'm going to have a very furry cactus. So I need to think of something to do with that. I do have an idea, but I don't want to talk about it in case it doesn't work. That is a video for another day. So this was a fun little venture into a new craft. I still have 2 other kits. We will see what becomes of them. And I'm just going to do that so you can have a look at the spot shines. I wish you could see the shines in real life, but then you would be in my house, and that would be weird.